The air is thick, warm, and heavy with the scent of damp earth and crushed ferns. You feel it cling to your skin, a humid blanket woven from the breath of a primeval forest. Sunlight struggles to pierce the dense canopy of towering conifers and strange, broad-leafed trees, casting the undergrowth in a perpetual twilight. Strange insects with iridescent wings drone past your ear, their buzz a constant, hypnotic hum. This is a world teeming with life, impossibly vibrant and green. Through the foliage, you hear a low, rhythmic crunching, followed by a deep, resonant rumble that seems to vibrate up from the very soil beneath your feet. Ever wonder what it truly felt like to stand in the shadow of a living giant? To feel the air shift as it passed? We'd love to know what corner of the globe you're watching from, and which prehistoric creature you'd most want to see up close. Drop a comment and let us know. Now, let's journey back in time and uncover the story of a lost world. The sound grows louder. A curtain of giant ferns shivers and then parts, pushed aside by a force of incredible, unhurried strength. Before you is not a soaring giant scraping the sky, but something built on an entirely different principle. It is a living fortress, wider than a family car, and covered from its eyelids to the tip of its tail in a mosaic of bony armor. You are standing 68 million years in the past, in the late Cretaceous period. The land you're on will one day be called Montana, North America, but right now, it is the coastal floodplain of a vast inland sea, a place scientists would later name the Hell Creek Formation. And the creature before you is its most formidable resident, Ankylosaurus magniventris. Its name is a perfect summary of its existence, a clue given to us from the ancient Greek. Ankylos, meaning fused or stiffened, and sauros, for lizard. The fused lizard. This isn't just poetry. It's a statement of biological fact. Its very skeleton is a masterpiece of defensive engineering, with bones in its skull and across its body fused together to create an almost unbreakable shield. Even its species name, magniventris, hints at its great belly, a testament to the massive digestive system needed to process the tough vegetation of its world. This was no lithe, agile creature. It was a slow-moving, deliberate browser, built to withstand anything this ferocious world could throw at it. Its strategy for survival wasn't speed or cunning, but to simply be too tough to kill. To understand this animal, you must first understand the world that forged it. A world where the air was filled with the roars of tyrants, and safety was a luxury you had to build, bone by agonizing bone, right into your own skin. As your eyes trace the contours of this incredible animal, you begin to appreciate the true meaning of fused lizard. Its body is a masterpiece of natural armor plating. Let's start with the head. It's low, triangular, and wider than it is long, less like a skull and more like a bony battering ram. Two thick, robust horns jut backward from its cheeks, while smaller horns and knobs adorn the back of its skull. Every inch is fortified. The real surprise, however, is a feature so extreme it feels like science fiction. Its eyelids. You watch it blink, slowly and deliberately, and you see not soft skin, but bony shutters sliding across its eyes. These plates, known as palpebral bones, meant that even in a direct confrontation, its most sensitive organs were shielded. It could look its attacker in the eye without fear. What kind of world requires a creature to evolve armored eyelids? A very dangerous one. From this fortified skull, the armor flows seamlessly across its neck and broad back. This isn't a single shell like a turtle's bug. It's a complex, flexible shield composed of hundreds of bony plates embedded directly into its thick skin. These plates, called osteoderms, come in all shapes and sizes. Large, flat, oval-shaped scutes are arranged in neat, parallel rows running down its body, forming a protective pavement over its vital organs. Between these larger plates, the skin is studded with countless smaller bony nodules, filling every gap. The result is a suit of armor that is both immensely strong and surprisingly pliable, allowing the animal to breathe and move without restriction. Touching it wouldn't feel like stone, but more like a dynamic mosaic of living bone, warm under the Cretaceous Sunday. Beneath this incredible shield is a body built for stability. Ankylosaurus is almost absurdly wide, a low-slung chassis that plants it firmly on the ground. Its short, pillar-like legs are positioned at the corners of its body, not directly underneath it, maximizing its footprint and lowering its center of gravity. This design had one crucial purpose: to make it impossible to flip over. Any predator, even a mighty Tyrannosaurus, would find it incredibly difficult to get enough leverage to topple this 5-ton walking bunker. Its only potential weak spot, its softer underbelly, was kept perpetually guarded, just inches from the safety of the earth. The entire design screams passive defense, a living monument to the principle of enduring any attack. It was an animal that didn't need to run or hide. It simply was an immovable fact of the landscape, daring the world to try its worst. But the story of this animal's defense doesn't end with impenetrable armor. Passive resistance was only half of the equation. As your gaze travels past its wide hips and down the length of its tail, you see the transition from defense to offense. You see the exclamation point to its armored sentence. The tail of an Ankylosaurus is one of the most sophisticated and terrifying weapons ever evolved. A natural-born wrecking ball, engineered for a single purpose: to shatter the bones of its enemies. It is a structure of two distinct and brilliant parts. The first half, nearest the body, is thick, muscular, and flexible, much like the tail of any other large reptile. This was the aiming mechanism, allowing the creature to orient its weapon with surprising dexterity. But about halfway down, everything changes. The tail transforms into a perfectly rigid, unbending rod. The final dozen or so vertebrae, the caudal vertebrae, are no longer independent bones, allowing for flexibility. Instead, they are locked together, fused into a single unit. This fusion is reinforced by a dense latticework of ossified tendons that have hardened into bone, creating a stiff, solid shaft. Think of it not as a tail, but as the handle of a colossal medieval mace. This rigidity was a stroke of evolutionary genius. It ensured that when the animal swung its tail, absolutely none of the energy generated by its powerful muscles was wasted in the wobble of a flexible tail. Every ounce of force was channeled directly to the tip. And what a tip it was! At the very end of this bony handle rests the club itself. A massive, dense knob of solid bone, formed from several osteoderms, fusing together into a single, terrifying mass. This knob could be more than 2 feet wide and weigh over 100 pounds. It wasn't just a lump. It was often composed of 2 large, flanking lobes of bone, designed to concentrate the crushing force of the impact. The sheer physics of it is breathtaking. The massive muscles anchored to the dinosaur's broad hips and pelvis acted as the engine. When it tensed these muscles, it could whip the rigid handle and heavy club through a wide arc with devastating speed. Forget the slow, clumsy swings you might see in movies. Biomechanical studies suggest the tip of that club could move fast enough to inflict catastrophic damage. A direct hit to the ankle or shin of an attacking Tyrannosaurus would not have been a simple fracture. It would have been an explosion of bone, a crippling, life-ending injury. This was not just a deterrent, it was a killer. A weapon this perfect doesn't evolve in a vacuum. It is the definitive answer to a terrifying question. A question that walked on 2 legs and had teeth like railroad spikes. For most of its day, the life of an Ankylosaurus was a slow and peaceful affair. You watch as it moves with unhurried purpose through the humid undergrowth, its broad, shovel-like beak snipping at ferns and the soft leaves of early flowering plants. Its head hangs low, a natural consequence of a body designed for grazing. Its teeth are surprisingly small and leaf-shaped, not built for chewing tough cycads, but for slicing through vegetation. The real work of digestion happened inside its enormous gut, a giant fermentation chamber slowly breaking down the fibrous plant matter. Its world is a rhythm of browsing, of moving slowly through the dappled light, a gentle giant in a violent land. But then, the rhythm breaks. A sudden stillness falls over the forest. The droning insects go quiet. A shadow detaches itself from the tree line, a shape of impossible size. The ground begins to tremble with a heavy, bipedal tread. You are now face to face with the reason all this armor exists. Tyrannosaurus Rex. This is no movie monster. It is the apex predator of this ecosystem. A finely tuned killing machine whose bone-crushing bite was the most powerful evolutionary pressure this world had ever known. And it is hungry. The Ankylosaurus does not run. It cannot. Instead, it executes the defensive strategy perfected by its ancestors. It stops, plants its columnar legs, and hunkers down, making its low profile even lower. It becomes an impenetrable dome of bone, its vulnerable underside pressed safely against the earth. Its head is tucked in, and its tail swings out to the side, the massive club held ready. What unfolds is not a frantic battle, but a tense, calculated standoff. The T-Rex circles, its intelligent eyes assessing the situation. It is a contest between offense and defense perfected. The Tyrant's jaws could shatter bone, but how can they get a grip on this pavement of interlocking armor? A frontal assault is met with a wall of horns and bony plates. An attack on the flank is met with the threat of that bone-shattering tail. The predator's only real hope is to somehow get past the weapon, to use its immense strength, to flip the 6-ton animal and expose its soft belly. But the Ankylosaurus is an expert in this deadly geometry, pivoting its body to keep the danger of the club always pointed at the attacker. This is the culmination of a multi-million-year evolutionary arms race. As predators developed more powerful attacks, prey developed more impregnable defenses. They are 2 sides of the same coin, locked in a dance where the stakes are absolute. A single miscalculation by the T-Rex could result in a shattered leg, a death sentence in this world. For the Ankylosaurus, a moment's lapse in attention is all the predator needs. The Tyrannosaurus vanishes back into the trees, and the ancient forest slowly returns to its gentle rhythm. But this world, in the grand scheme of time, is fleeting. You watch as millions of years flash by in an instant. The landscape changes, the climate cools, and the reign of these incredible giants comes to a sudden, cataclysmic end. The living, breathing Ankylosaurus fades, leaving behind only silence and bone, buried deep within the earth, waiting. It would wait for 66 million years until the emergence of a new kind of animal, one driven by insatiable curiosity. In the early 20th century, fossil hunters combing the Badlands of Montana began finding the pieces of a puzzle. A piece of an unusually thick skull, a single bony scute the size of a dinner plate, a section of vertebrae fused into an unbending rod. For years, our picture of Ankylosaurus was incomplete, assembled from these scattered fragments. The very first specimen, described in 1908, lacked the famous tail club, leaving scientists to guess at its full defensive potential. It was only with later discoveries that the true nature of this animal, the walking fortress with its bone-shattering mace, came into focus. And even now, with more complete skeletons, the debates continue. Using advanced computer simulations, paleontologists test the limits of its power. We know the club could break bone, but was it used exclusively for defense against predators? Or could it have served another purpose? Some scientists theorize that these animals may have engaged in ritual combat, swinging their clubs against each other's armored flanks to fight for territory or mating rights, a high-stakes duel between titans. The fossils are the clues, but the full story of their behavior is a mystery we are still unraveling. This ongoing discovery is what makes paleontology so exciting, allowing us to refine the image of this prehistoric icon. In pop culture, Ankylosaurus is a superstar, the ultimate dinosaur tank. But now you can see beyond the caricature. You know it's a creature of the very late Cretaceous, not the Jurassic. You understand its armor wasn't a stiff, turtle-like shell, but a flexible matrix of living bone. And you appreciate its tail not just as a heavy club, but as a marvel of biomechanical engineering, perfected over millions of years of evolution. It was the last and greatest of its kind, the culmination of an armored dynasty that stretched back over 100 million years. It stood as the ultimate symbol of defense in a world defined by predation, a living testament to the power of perseverance, right up until the very end. The world of Ankylosaurus is now lost to us, buried beneath layers of rock and time, a silent chapter in our planet's immense history. Yet, through the patient work of science and the power of our own imagination, these ghosts are given form once more. The bones, once silent, tell us their stories of survival, of adaptation, and of a world so fantastically different from our own. To look upon its fossilized armor or the terrifying mass of its tail club is to feel a tangible connection to the deep past. It serves as a profound reminder that our world has been home to wonders beyond our wildest dreams, and that beneath our feet lies a lost kingdom of giants, waiting for us to piece their incredible stories back together, one fossil at a time. The journey into the past never truly ends. It only waits for the next discovery.